My name is Nolan Heilman. I spend most of my time working on my family's farm, raising cattle and different types of grain crops. My plan at Terra is to earn a degree in agribusiness management. I go to Old Fort High School where I take most of my CCP classes to my agricultural advisor. After college, I wish to find a career in agriculture and help run my family's farm on the side. Another thing I like to do is deer hunt, which I've been doing for 8 years. My family has been deer hunting forever and we have lots of places to hunt with all of the farm around that we farm.
Inflation and unemployment. Inflation is the rise in prices over time, making money less valuable to the average American. Examples of inflation's impact on everyday life is rising gas prices and grocery costs. Some powerful historical examples are the 1970s U.S. stagflation period, the hyperinflation in Zimbabwe during the 2000s, and post-COVID-19 global inflation spikes. Inflation, or explanation of how inflation is measured and controlled, is Consumer Price Index, Federal Reserve's role in managing inflation through interest rates. And on the graph on the right, you can see the average inflation rate increase over the past 100 years. In my everyday life, I see inflation through personal finances, including rising rent and grocery prices, as well as gas prices and just other various costs of living. It increased wages and paychecks have increased a little bit in response to the inflation. Personal observations of unemployment. I've noticed help signs all over through different businesses and just sitting around with friends and family talking about how many people are looking for workers. Discussing ongoing inflation concerns about COVID-19 and the implications for future generations is a current event of inflation because inflation rates from COVID just keep increasing. The role of government and central banks in managing these economic issues. So the government just tries to keep regulating the inflation rates with many different policies. The inflation affects everybody, from just the price of your morning coffee to how far paychecks go. It's a powerful force that can shape economics, influence elections, and change the way people live their daily lives. Watching how inflation rises or falls tells a story about supply chains, consumer behavior, and government decisions. Inflation is when prices go up over time, meaning your money doesn't go as far as it used to, or buys as much as it used to. A little inflation is normal, but too much can be a problem because it makes everyday things more expensive. The 1970s U.S. stagflation era, when inflation and unemployment were both high. This was due to change in economic growth, because the economic growth was uneven, and it was due to oil prices that increased in the Middle East. The hyperinflation in Zimbabwe during the 2000s was where prices doubled every day, which was caused from excessive money printing, taking back land from farmers, meaning that food was harder to grow because of the less farmland, which just further increased their inflation rates. More recently was the global inflation spike that occurred during COVID-19 as supply chains broke down and demand surged. And this was due to, as previously stated, the high demand and the amount of time without production due to the pandemic during COVID. Gas and grocery prices are rising at the stores today. Rent increases with housing costs going up. Companies continue to raise wages to keep up with the new cost of living. And central banks like the Federal Reserve are adjusting interest rates to control inflation. As of 2020 to 2022, gas inflation rates have increased 89.5%. Groceries have increased 23.6%. Rent has increased 34.7%. House have increased 47%, and wages have increased 20.8%. Unemployment rates. The definition of unemployment rates is the percentage of people actively seeking work but unable to find a job. Key historical events. The Great Depression and its massive impact on the U.S. economy, which were in the stock market, pretty much crashed during the Great Depression. The 2008 financial crisis and its global effects. The rapid spike in unemployment during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. How employment is measured and its connection to overall economic health. How employment is measured is basically the number of people that are able to work. That's the percent out of the people that are actually working. So unemployment rates reflect on how healthy an economy is. High unemployment can signal a recession or crisis, while low unemployment means more people are working and spending money, fueling growth. It's closely related to people's sense of financial security and opportunity. The unemployment rate shows what percentage of people who want to work can't find a job. It's a way of measuring how easy or hard it is to get work. And you can see the graph on the bottom corner where it shows the unemployment rates in the last 70 years. The Great Depression had unemployment rates as high as 25% in the U.S. The 2008 financial crisis caused millions to lose jobs around the world. In 2020, during the pandemic, unemployment spiked dramatically almost overnight due to all the factories and companies closing down rapidly. So you can see, or I see, unemployment rates through many different help wanted signs. News reports talk about the high unemployment rates and how people are getting laid off from certain jobs. Government job reports are released about the unemployment rates, and just talking with friends and family that are looking for work or different changes of careers.